Are you looking for a surgeon to do your plastic surgery? Or have you had plastic surgery already and you now feel like something is just not right with the surgeon you chose? Well, if that's the case, stay tuned as I give you tips on how to research a plastic surgeon. If you're new to the channel, my name is Aisha and welcome to the BX Beauty YouTube channel, where we are a cosmetic company that provides quality cosmetic products, give information on starting and running a business, and we also provide plastic surgery support and empowerment to anyone in need. And for my returning viewers, thank you for continuing to watch my videos. Your support is truly appreciated. And if you enjoy the content we're providing in this video today, I humbly encourage you to subscribe and keep tuning in each and every Friday for a new video. Now, if you don't take anything else from this video, please hear me when I say, do your due diligence. Research the surgeon you're interested in. You don't want to be on the back end of a malpractice suit before you finally realize that the surgeon you chose is a quack. And y'all know what I mean by a quack, a fake, a phony. And they ain't even qualified to say your name, let alone being qualified to reconstruct your body. When researching a surgeon, you want to check for a history of malpractice suits, disciplinary actions, and just an overall review that validates their credentials and their resume. Now, getting plastic surgery is a big deal because you're basically reconstructing your body. And you don't want somebody mangling up your body or practicing their technique on you. You want to make sure that the smoke they blowing has fire to it. Their experience and their capabilities meet your needs. Now let's get to the good part, shall we? When researching your surgeon, it is important to remember that you should be checking each state where that surgeon has practiced. Because reality is, even though disciplinary actions and malpractice suits should transfer from one jurisdiction to the other, oftentimes they don't. So it's important to make sure that you check all states that they've practiced in. And I mean, don't get me wrong. You got some out there that'll catch a case and skip town. And they'll go start all over with a clean slate in a new state like ain't nothing ever even happened. The other thing to keep in mind is when you're researching by name, it could be another surgeon out there with the same or similar name as the person you're researching. And if that happens, you just want to recall and recant the additional information that you may have gotten from the surgeon or their team. You know, maybe they got a different middle name or they've practiced in some different states. And reality is, you may even have to simply pick up the phone and ask a member of their team or the surgeon directly if he or she has ever been presented with a malpractice suit or other disciplinary actions. You may also have to just ask them, where all have you practiced? How long have you been practicing? And if they're board certified. And most times, if a surgeon belongs to certain boards or higher standard practice groups, trust me, they are quick to advertise it. I mean, you can't even have one conversation without them advertising, I'm board certified. Oh, and most times that information is usually also found somewhere on their website. And if they ain't got no website, then honey child, I tell you, you heard it straight from my mouth, don't fool with them. Because the least they can do is have a website. Now, going back to serious business here. Where all can you search for this information? I'm going to give y'all a few resources you can use to get information about your surgeon. And that's something that I see oftentimes. People genuinely want to research their surgeon. They just don't know how to do it or where to look. In my opinion, I would say the best and most reliable source to get information from would be your state's medical licensing board. You also can get information from the Federation of State Medical Boards. You can also get information from a website called Docinfo, DOCINFO, Docinfo. You also can get information from the American Board of Plastic Surgery. And the other resource I have that kind of gives more of the credentialing information is AMA Docfinder. That's another great website. I'm going to say that again. AMA Docfinder. DOCFINDER. The combination of those websites, they can give you information on their board certifications, their education, their history, the active states of licenses they hold, and any actions that have been brought against that surgeon or their licensure. And just going back, the Federation of State Medical Boards, they use the database Docinfo to share most of this information nationally. So those are some of, and I'm going to put the links and these resources down in the description box so you guys have that information, and can just go right to that website. When you check your state's medical licensing board, you want to make sure that they're licensed to practice in your state or the state you want to have surgery in. Now, we all have heard people say, "Child, go get you a board certified plastic surgeon." And I know some of y'all out there saying, "Well, girl, what does it mean and why does it matter to go and get a plastic surgeon who is board certified?" Well, board certification means that they're likely certified by the American Board of Plastic Surgery. And this certification, it shows that that surgeon has taken additional steps to perfect their technique and their expertise. It also means that they've completed the additional training and preceptor and residency and ultimately have pledged to uphold the highest standard of practice as part of their certification. So in other words, it just means they didn't jump through some hoops to show this American Board of Plastic Surgery that they mean business and they serious about their craft. If I need to just put it in layman's terms. Again, I've included the link in the description box. So if you got somebody who blowing smoke up your backside, talking about they board certified, go to that description box, like this video, and then go and check it out. Make sure they actually certified. So now, when they go throwing around that word board certified, you can easily pull up that website and make sure the smoke is real. And low key, being in the healthcare field, I've seen a few situations where people's licensure and certifications have mistakenly lapsed for a number of reasons. So even though you see something that's expired or what have you, still do your due diligence and go check it out. Because technology ain't 100%, and y'all know that. Now, a few other resources that can give you more the consumer and the patient feedback and ratings would be things like RealSelf.com. RealSelf.com. And that's a website that is built solely on cosmetic and or plastic surgery procedures. It gives doctors ratings. People go on all the time and give reviews, before and after pictures, and they do a really good job at answering questions. So if you don't know about RealSelf.com, go check it out. I'd say it's probably one of the biggest plastic surgery resource websites out there, and it's highly interactive. It's not just the providers who are interacting with the website, it's also the patients. And to be frank, there's a lot of doctors who actually post before and after photos of their work. So go check and make sure your surgeon on now and they didn't put a few before and afters. The other websites that may be helpful to get reviews and ratings would be things like Google. People still do Google reviews. Don't sleep on Google. Go check those reviews out. Facebook groups. There's a number of Facebook groups that are built surrounding plastic surgery. Some are hosted by doctors and some are just interactions between plastic surgery patients or people who want plastic surgery. So go check out some of those groups. There's oftentimes I see a lot of people sharing information about their provider. And trust me, y'all, they share the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, sometimes I swear it's an episode of Guiding Light, but you know, I appreciate it and I still read the comments. But ultimately, anything that lets you know how satisfied their patients are, it's a great resource. You want to hear from those patients because y'all know these doctors' offices and plastic surgeon offices, sometimes they're going to pretty it up, but that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to reassure us. Now, you've collected all this information. What does that mean and what do you do now? I'd say you then want to make a good judgment call, and that can go one of two ways. I'm disgusted with what I see, and I know this ain't my doc, or I may have a few more questions for this surgeon, but they all right. When making that final decision, and while interpreting the information you see, I'd say you want to consider a few more things. Sometimes what we see isn't the full story and may not give a good depiction of what the real story is. Hence, the need for more questions. And don't be afraid to ask those probing questions. Heck, you about to spend a good chunk of coins on this surgery. So ask questions and find out about this person you're about to put your money and your life into their hands. And y'all know what I always say, a closed mouth don't get fed. The other thing to keep in mind, when you work in healthcare field, and that matters what position you in, from a nurse to a nursing assistant or a doctor, you are always at risk for allegations of poor care. And some of y'all know exactly what I'm speaking about. Just because you see a malpractice suit, and yes, I know it may be a red flag in your book, it doesn't necessarily mean that it was justified, true, or a legitimate allegation. And really, the ugly truth about healthcare is lawsuits are often filed after a death or injury, but oftentimes is at no fault of the provider. So before you assume, get more information. You also want to make sure that you're going into this search with an open mind. And remember, your goal is not to get the tea on somebody. It's to find the best surgeon for you that has the experience and the capabilities to meet your needs. If you find very little information, that could just mean you got a surgeon with a clean record and they may be good to go with. Or it also could mean that the action may have met the criteria to be removed. Either way, trust your gut and do your homework. Choosing a doctor is an important decision. And it's hard to trust the process if you don't trust your surgeon and the team that you've chosen. Do yourself a favor and make an informed decision. With all that said, be easy, be beautiful, be blessed, and be you. Have a great day, BX Beauties.